He is Dr. Ralph May, the Community Guidance Center. Of course, we know him from all those years with that organization, and we just know him as an all-around hail fellow, well met. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Dr. May, you joined us earlier this week along with Terry Overman Jr., our coroner, and Tom Stutzman, Indiana County's Emergency Management Director, to talk about this coming week. Next week, a week from today, is Christmas Day. Traditionally, families get together and people enjoy each other's company. There's another side to the Christmas holiday, and that is the fact that there are some people that just don't feel the spirit at Christmas time. They've got difficulties handling things. And this year, in 2020, from a mental standpoint, it could be even more difficult for some folks. So maybe we need to visit that topic a little bit more in depth today and talk about mental health during the holidays and during a pandemic.
Well, I think you've hit it right on the head, and we've certainly talked about this, Todd, that there's really two big areas of stress this season in particular. See, the Christmas season is a wonderful season, but it can be very difficult for people anyway, people that have family difficulties or no family at all for support. It's a reminder of what they don't have. The pressures of Christmas anyway, trying to get everything right, the gifts, the holiday activities, the pressure of trying to do too much that gets away from kind of the fundamental reason for the season. The pressure of the holidays can always be hard. But this year, now, the pressure is even worse, but in a different direction. Some of the very things that we try to do to make the season bright for all of us, to make the season positive, we can't do, or we can do, but with really high risk. My worry is that as we've gone through the duration, the rolling stressor of the pandemic, people desperately want to restore some sense of normal. They want reconnection with family. They want that normalcy. Now, the light's on the horizon with the vaccine. We can see the finish line, though it's still a little bit away off, but we're going to break through this next year. We will break through it next year. Next Christmas will be normal, whatever normal is for you and I and everyone else. But the issue is now the very thing we need the most, the very thing we want the most, connection, rituals of routine, the normalcy, is we can't quite have that yet. And that's a source of extreme stress for people because they just want to get back together with their families. They just want to get back together to normal, and particularly during this season. And so we've got these two forces pushing us, right? The desire to get back to normal, to be reconnected, to physically, give up the physical distancing, take off the mask, do all those things that we can't really do right now safely. But we want to do that because we want that connection. So people need to find a way to have the connection, create meaning for the season, maybe some new ideas that remain with the physical distancing and masking, maybe limited size activities that are safe. But we need to be creative to have something special and meaningful in the season, and maybe rediscover something about the Christmas season that we've lost. In all the years past where it's all been about the parties or the dinners or the right decorations or the right gifts, instead of having that kind of stress, maybe since we can't so much focus on that, we can focus more upon what really is important, how much we have missed those connections and how valuable they are and how they will be restored. We'll get back to normal, and I've said that repeatedly. We will. Next year at this time, I really have very little doubt that with the vaccines that have been developed and with our movement toward healing, that we're going to be okay. We're going to be back to normal, but we got to get there. And to get there, we have to have that steadiness of plan, that willingness to continue to be creative, to stay the course, protect ourselves, protect others. It's not just about protecting ourselves, it's about protecting others. And then create some positive connections with people during the season and recognize how much those old things maybe we used to complain about that we miss so much. And how we might want to do something different and incorporate some new things into next year's plans.
It's very interesting that you say that because I'm holding in my hands right now this particular survey that asked people, what are the things that you thought you hated about the holidays but you're going to miss this year? And included among them the chaos of the entire family being together, making fun of or being made fun of by your siblings and parents, last-minute shopping, pretending that you like a gift, spending time with your in-laws, all of those different things that we say, Christmas is here.
We used to complain about Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's so much work. And now it's like, gee, I really miss all that complaining. And I think that's a lesson, isn't it? That
Absolutely.
We take for granted the gifts that we have all the time because they become so normal, so ritual, so worn out that we forget how important they really are. The virus has given us certain gifts, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we choose to acknowledge that or not, it is terrible. It's horrible. It's killing people by the hordes. It's one of the most difficult disasters this country and the world's ever faced. But it has given us gifts, knowing who and what to really appreciate, what is really important to us in our lives. This reminds us of that.
And we
need to not forget that.
We have probably a renewed appreciation for how strong people can be as well. You said something a couple of moments ago that I thought was really interesting as well. We do have that light at the end of the tunnel. We can see the finish line, as you put it. Now, you and I, we're both runners, and we've been in plenty of races. And as you round that corner, that final corner, when that finish line is in the distance, but you know that it's there, sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult. And so you have two choices. You can really start pumping, or you can say, gosh, that looks far off, and give up. And you don't want to give up.
Well, you don't want to give up. You've come this far. I mean, you and I both know what that's like. And I come around that corner, the race that I run down in West Virginia, come around that corner, and I can see the finish line. The finish line is about a quarter of a mile away. And I think, oh, my God, it's so far away, but I'm almost there. So you go through this thing like, do I have enough left to kick? Do I have enough left to push it? And I think what goes in your head is, after all this, after all this effort, all this work, all this effort of survival and training, I don't want to trip and fall and stop now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to get across this finish line. I've got to kick. I got to give what I've got left to get there. And I think that's where we are right now. Where we are right now is people need to remember we're almost there. Don't collapse now. Don't give up now. Don't like, I gotta get back to normal now, because you want to have the people you love here with you next Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you got to focus on. This is serious stuff. And talking to Tom Stutzman, Jerry Overman, and God bless Jerry Overman, I talk to him practically once a day. And the amount of death we're dealing with here is unprecedented. And we need to, a lot of people don't even understand that, because maybe they're not directly touched by it. But the people I work with and I know and I interact with on a regular basis here, all the healthcare providers, oh my goodness, this is really hard. So we have to remember, we'll get through this. What we do right now sets the normal for next year. What we do right now, we've got to finish the race strong. We've got to finish the race strong.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I want you to take a moment right now, and I want you to directly address those people who are just as Jerry is, as the doctors and the nurses and the people working in the nursing homes, those situations where they have fought so hard. We know that they're exhausted from this battle, and yet there's still some fighting left to do. Address those folks and what they can do and should be doing right now to protect themselves.
What I want to say to them is, first of all, thank you. Keep the faith. Don't quit now. Everything you're doing matters. It doesn't matter that some people may not recognize it. It will be recognized years from now. They'll be talking about the efforts that you're putting in. Keep the faith. Take care of yourselves. Take treasure in every moment that you can. Love your families. Love those with you. Remember, we're out here. We're supporting you. The mental health community will be there for you, and will continue to be there for you well after this is over. Don't forget, there are people behind you supporting you.
Yeah, people need to have that message. They need to keep that positivity right now more than ever. We've seen some cracks in the foundation, I think, lately and locally here in the last couple of weeks and this week in particular. Now's not the time. Now's not the time. Now's the time to really buck each other.
Now's the time to put the kick in. Now's the time to not quit.
Here comes the finish line.
That's right.
Dr. May, it's been a pleasure. Of course, we know that there is typical holiday stress that comes in. The New Year's holiday is coming right after that. One of the things that you and I were talking about earlier this week with Mr. Overman and Mr. Stutzman was the fact that these are really two different types of holidays. The Christmas holiday is one of those family get-together type of days, and we love that and we celebrate that. The New Year's holiday is more of an out of the house environment. That's more out of the family thing, where you're getting together with other people for the New Year's parties, and those have their own particular dangers, and maybe even more so because of the possibility of spread.
That's right, and that's the thing that's got, I think, the healthcare community so worried, because this is an extended holiday period, two different kind of things: close family and Christmas, which is challenging enough to maintain small groups. But then New Year's is a big party day. People go out and they want to go out, and that would be a nightmare. So our worry is that if people don't get the messages, they don't stay the course through this very challenging time, then come mid-January, early February, it's going to be something a lot worse than we've even seen so far.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So the message for the holidays is to really grab the Spirit. The Spirit is there. Let's grab it. Let's keep it. Let's display it. And we all have people that we know who are suffering. If somebody has somebody they know that emotionally is just really, really starting to break down, what should they do for that person right now?
Well, first of all, they need to support them, listen to them, love them. But then, if they need additional support, they need to, of course, be able to call the mental health crisis line here in Indiana, which is 877-333-2470. That's a 24/7 crisis number that we work to create. It's housed at the Open Door, but you can get help, professional support, anytime, day or night, any day of the week, any day of the year, if you need it. And if you want counseling and therapy, you come up to the Guidance Center. You call us directly at 724-465-5576, and we can get you in and get you some solid help face-to-face. We can do face-to-face even now, though we can do online as well. So,
Dr. Ralph May, enjoy the final stages of the race here, huh?
You too, my friend, and let's keep the community supported through this process.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160. AM 1160.